we do have some breaking news for you tonight. Twitter has reportedly suspended an account allegedly linked to Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The Twitter account has often posted excerpts from Khamenei's speeches and other official content from the country's leader. Now, the suspension comes days after the account posted a video showing the assassination of President Donald Trump while playing golf at Mar-a-Lago. Joining me now to discuss is the executive director of Iranian Americans for Liberty, Brian Lee. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Allison.
Of course, Brian, does this signal a credible threat not only to President Trump, but to the United States at large?
Well, I think any time a regime that's been chanting death to America while also funding terrorist proxies all around the world since before I was born takes a shot at the former president like this, yes, it is a threat. Listen, we applaud Twitter for taking this decisive action. My organization was actually the ones that pulled this video off of Khamenei's website. We put it on Twitter for the world to see. We're thankful that individuals like Rick Grinnell, Representative Claudia Tenney, and Representative Kat Kamek also helped to amplify this so the world could see this lust for violence that Khamenei has towards not just President Trump, but every single American. And it's time for President Biden to end this charade of diplomacy and negotiations with the world's foremost sponsor of terrorism. He should go back to President Trump's maximum pressure campaign, in our opinion, and completely isolate this regime from the world. They're terrorists. They've been terrorists since 1979. This video should show all the American people really their true intentions.
Yeah, Brian, I don't really think that this story has gotten a lot of press. I mean, obviously we're talking about it, but a lot of the mainstream media really hasn't talked about it. But this is a serious, serious thing.
Oh, it's an extremely serious thing. And it's not just President Trump that has come in the crosshairs by Khamenei and the Iranian regime. Just 2 weeks ago, the Iranian regime put out a video on social media depicting them launching ICBM intercontinental missiles towards Israel and attacking Israel. So again, this regime really hasn't changed their colors too much since 1979. And while Newsmax certainly has been leading on this, you're right, Allison. Unfortunately, we haven't really seen too much from the mainstream media and people really holding this regime accountable. And let me say this as well. I think this is a good first step from Twitter, but let's be candid here. The account that they banned is one of his, what's a good analogy, one of his burner type accounts. It's an account that he can afford to lose. Twitter needs to go even further. They need to ban every single account. This is a gentleman, this is an evil man, I should say, that tweets out in English, in Arabic, in Hebrew, in French, in Persian, in every single language you can possibly think of. So Twitter should take a strong stance against all of Khamenei's accounts. And my organization actually 2 weeks ago called for that to happen. And we'll see if members of Congress will heed our call.
Yeah, I hope they do, because it's, he probably will create other accounts under other names. And, it's just a matter of time that happens. Do you think that the Biden administration is doing enough to take this seriously, and plus other threats that you talked about? What should they do? What should they be doing?
Allison, President Biden banned the word malign from being used in official communications when describing the Islamic Republic. So, I've said jokingly, it's really not so much a joke anymore, unfortunately, that President Biden is more like President Appeasement. He's been appeasing the Iranian regime and other terrorists and dictatorship regimes around the world since he stepped into the White House. He has never projected any type of strength onto the Islamic Republic of Iran. And it also should be noted that because of this appeasement and weakness coming from the White House, our adversaries like China and Russia have taken advantage of this vacuum of power. And it was just last summer that China did a deal with Iran where they would be investing $400 billion over the next 25 years. Allison, that is an enormous amount of money for a country that hasn't even seen 10 million in outside investment in the last 10 years. So President Biden continues to project weakness. When a reporter asked Jen Psaki the press secretary about this video. She couldn't even bring herself to condemn this video.
No.
So from top to bottom, from Biden to Psaki to Blinken to Malley to Sullivan, everyone you can think of, it's just weakness after weakness, and terrorists are always going to exploit weakness.
Brian, I got to go. I'm sorry, we're short for time, but we appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on the show and everything you're doing. We appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, Allison.